What is up, benchwarmers, to another NFL, NFC South this time prediction. Starting with the NFC South champions last year and probably repeat. That'd be 3 years in a row now, maybe 4. The New Orleans Saints. Now, this division's going to be really close as well. Kind of. Honestly, I think any of these teams could take the division. It's just not that likely for the Falcons or the Panthers. Maybe the Falcons if they actually, meet their potential, but I don't think they will. Now, for the Saints, they got Malcolm Jenkins in the offseason. That's pretty good, but Malcolm Jenkins he was not really Malcolm Jenkins last year as much. He's kind of regressed a little bit, but he's still solid. I think the Saints were a team, they didn't really need to change that much, and they didn't. They got a few new pieces, lost a few pieces, they were okay, but I think ultimately, they got Jameis Winston. Maybe he's probably the next Teddy Bridgewater to be a solid backup and then get an actual contract somewhere else, but I think maybe they groom him into being the next Saints quarterback, because how long does Drew Brees really have? Because I give Drew Brees maybe 2 more years. I just don't know. Yeah, it's hard to gauge with quarterbacks these days. Like, Tom Brady has really set the bar. Retire already, and we'll get to him in one of the other NFC videos. But let's just start with the Saints. And they could definitely regress, but I got them going way too well. I'm going to be very wrong. So starting with the first 4, they go 4-0. Beat the Buccaneers, who haven't even practiced at all yet, and they won't until July 28th. It is July 15th. They only will have like a month of practice with Tom Brady and Gronk. And it's an old Gronk and an old Brady. Yes, you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and O.J. Howard. I like O.J. Howard a lot. But they're probably not going to use him as much. But who do they have as running back, really? I don't trust that entirely. But I'll get into their video. I'll get into them in their video. But the Saints, they're a team that knows each other already. They got the upper hand there. That's a win. They're going to beat the Raiders. They're just flat out the better team. I don't really need to explain much. Here with the Packers. Now, there has been reports that there's going to be a lot less fans, so home field advantage is not going to be that much of a thing. It's not going to be nearly as loud in this stadium with probably 25%, but some stadiums, like the Eagles, they're going to have no fans in any of their stadium. Like, there's going to be no fans in any Philly sports. I wonder if some of these other teams are going to follow suit. So, home field advantage is kind of taken away. So that might change how I feel about some of these, which I'll say it. I'll keep my prediction the same, but I will express that it could change because of this. And this is one of them. I think the Packers have the roster to compete with the Saints. Now, a lot of people think they didn't deserve to be 13-3, and you know what? Maybe they didn't. But they still were. Even if you just stumble onto 13-3, you got to have a pretty good roster to stumble onto 13-3. But I'm going to still give it to the Saints because they are at home. Defense might be closer this year. I'm not 100%. Because normally I'd just say, yeah, if this was the past 2-3 years, Saints had the better defense. But now it might be a little more even. Offense, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, they're kind of the same running back in my opinion. So kind of even there. Quarterback, Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers, kind of even there. It's kind of, these teams could be a lot closer than people think. Now, I'm pretty sure they still have Jared Cook, which I miss Jared Cook. He had a pretty good second half of that year, and we should have re-signed him instead. But I think Jay Sternberger is going to start tearing stuff up. So I think this is going to be a close game. And then with the Lions, they're going to beat the Lions. This one could go either way. Now, I'm still going to say the Saints win because the Saints, I guess I shouldn't say it could go either way. I should say more, I could see the Lions pulling this off. They almost beat the Chiefs last year. They almost beat the Packers twice last year. They could do it, but I don't know if I trust it. Matt Patricia likes to quit in the fourth quarter, whether they're up or whether they're down. They don't play in the fourth quarter. Next four. So, let me make sure I got that right. Yep. Well, who knows if I got it right, but you're going to beat the Chargers. This one could be closer than some might think. But I'm going to give you the edge because you have Drew Brees. They have Tyrod Taylor. And even if it's Justin Herbert, it's either Justin Herbert or Tyrod Taylor. Their defense might be a little better than the Saints' defense, but Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas and Jared Cook is better than either Tyrod or Herbert, with Keenan Allen, who is very underrated, and Austin Eckler. I think they have Hunter Henry, or am I thinking? I'm probably thinking of the wrong team. Ignore that last part then. But I don't even know who they have at tight end, so I'm just gonna give it to the Saints. They just have more pieces on offense to compete with that defense, and the Saints have a solid defense to hold that offense. And then you're going to lose to the Panthers in a shocking one. Coming out of the bye week, you're feeling very confident. 5-0. That's really good. But the Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Robbie Anderson. And, I mean, how could you forget Christian McCaffrey? That's a solid offense. This is going to be a possible high-scoring game. I'm a believer in Teddy. I really am. And he's got the weapons to work with the Panthers. Not necessarily the defense, but I think they catch them off guard here. Saints are, feeling high and mighty. Panthers take them off right there. That's how I'm seeing it. But then they come right back, beat the Bears. The Bears. And with the Bears, I don't care who their quarterback is, whether it's Big Dick Nick or Kissin' Titty Trubisky. Mitch Kissin' Titty, that's what it is. They're not beating them. They have the better defense, but regardless of quarterback, the Saints have the better offense. So it's going to be the Saints. Now, the Buccaneers, they're going to be kind of finding their groove at this point. And they're going to be a better team than they were week one. Tom Brady, Gronk, they're going to have their connection. They're going to have their chemistry with the rest of the team, possibly. And the Buccaneers' defense is a lot better than people give it credit. Last year, they would have been a lot better on paper if they weren't on the field for like 90% of the game. I know that's an exaggeration, but because of all those interceptions, they were on the field a lot more than they should have been. So, next four. Kind of shocking. Not necessarily the first two, but you're going to beat the 49ers. 49ers, you beat them last year, and that was a great game to watch. Very fun. And my God, that George Kittle run at the end was insane. This is going to be another high-powered game. You guys might be hit with that Super Bowl hangover, so I'm not entirely sure. But I'm going to assume you're the same, because you really didn't lose that much, and you added a few pieces. I think you're going to be solid. Another high-scoring game, but this time, it's the Saints' turn. And then you're going to beat the Falcons, because Falcons. Now, this could be closer than a lot of people think. Falcons' defense last year it should have been better than what it was. And I was very annoyed with how bad the Falcons were, because they are, on paper, a contending team. Why were they not even close? Until the second half of the season, they started to pick things up too little, too freaking late. But Saints at home, I'm going to give it to them. So I'm actually having you... Oh, where are the... Oh, yep, okay, never mind. So then I'm going to have you losing to the Broncos. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, so ignore that. But I'm going to have you losing to the Broncos, because I kind of went over this in their video. I like the Broncos a lot this season. Drew Lock, uh, he's got plenty of weapons there. And Noah Fant might be taking that next step up. Their defense might come back in year 2 of Vic Fangio, which he's a really good defensive coordinator. I would know as a Packer fan who had to play him in 2018 especially. But Vic Fangio, I think if he can get his play calling together, I think he could be a really good coach. And I think this is the best opportunity he's going to get because this is a solid roster. So I'm going to give it to the Broncos at home. That's this Sunday. Is that? Nope. Okay. I'm hoping that's an American game of the week so we can all see it because that's going to be a good one. Then you're going to lose to the Falcons because I think the Falcons are going to, you'll see in their video. I'm sorry, Falcons fans. But they have a tough, they have a very tough roster. And it's going to be very tough to sweep them. So I don't think it's going to happen. So that's the biggest reason. You could swap these two either way. I don't care. But next 4. Final 4. So you're going to lose to the Eagles. This one I might change because you don't. Like, home field advantage is basically non-existent in Philadelphia, as I stated before. They are going to have no fans for the whole season, which is crazy, but it's going to be very interesting. I think this one was also a 4 o'clock game, 4:30 game, whatever. And with the Eagles, I mean, I could still have this going either way because I think their offense, if the Eagles stay healthy, they're a Super Bowl contending team. But they couldn't stay healthy. If they just stay healthy, they're fine. And I think they could be just as good as the Saints if they stay healthy because I'm very high on Carson Wentz. Hate me for that. I don't really care. I think Carson Wentz is the best quarterback in that division. But I'm going to have the Eagles winning here, but this could go either way, especially since home field advantage is non-existent in Philadelphia. But then you're going to beat the Chiefs. Chiefs might have a bit of a Super Bowl hangover, but your rosters are also very similar, kind of like with the Packers and with the 49ers. Solid defense, really good quarterback, which you get the edge in the 49ers, but against the Packers and the Chiefs, well, Packers it might be more even, but the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs have the edge in quarterback. Running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be really good for them, along with Damian Williams, who should have been Super Bowl MVP, and they still have Shady McCoy. So this is going to be a close one. I think the Chiefs could take this. This could go either way, but I'm giving it to the Saints. And then you're going to beat the Vikings. You hate the Vikings. Beat them. Please. For me, personally. Like, just do it for me. Don't do it for any other reason. Just beat the Vikings. And then you're going to beat the Panthers, because the Panthers are not good enough to sweep you. Not at all. So, I have you going 11-5. Now, I originally think I had you going like 15-1, and I'm like, nah, that's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. It could happen 2 years ago. It could. It definitely could, but it's not going to. Drew Brees is not getting any younger. I think they're using Taysom Hill a little too much sometimes, kind of like in that playoff game. They should have just kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to get in the whole Taysom Hill thing, but let's see what your floor is. I think that's... Oh, yeah, right there. 6-10 is your floor. That's not going to happen. But you could, I could definitely see either of these games going the way they go. It's possible. It's just not very likely. In fact, I'm going to change this, actually. 8-8 is your floor. That's your real floor. But still, you're not going 8-8. So, what's your ceiling? Like I said before, it's 14-2. 14-2 is your ceiling. Because, I'll make it 15-1. 15-1 is your ceiling. Okay, fine. Could be 16-0. Let's just go crazy. But no, I'll make it 15-1. You're definitely that good of a team. You could definitely go 15-1. I don't think it's going to happen. but you never know. 15-1 and 16-0 seasons are virtually impossible to predict because you never think that it's gonna happen, but it does. So that is my prediction. Ooh, this is a long video. I ranted a little bit more than I should have, but thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you for the second place in the NFC